Welcome back to the LCS Challengers League here over on the path to LCS. I'm still joined by Mazel and Beatdown, and I could tell you guys were popping off. That was one hell of a game to end it last time. And Lennon, honestly, do you still have the voice to go for a whole other series?
Absolutely. Put me in, coach.
All right, and Nate, I mean, again, this has been like a wild one. I mean, there's a whole lot of analysis to do, but it's back and forth and rapid fire. We got another banger coming up right for you here as we're getting into Dignitas Challengers versus 100 Thieves Challengers. And we just saw yesterday, Wildcard went 1-1 with this team, and now it's 100 Thieves' turn to try and take their crack at it. So, Beatdown, what do you have ready for us about the Dignitas roster?
I mean, the Dignitas roster is still the best one we have in the league. They are first place so far in the NACL, albeit by narrow margins, but they've been constantly showing us why they are the top team in this league so far. And we were kind of touching on it at the start of the day that this matchup is going to be a big one because 100 Thieves are also the top team in the league, excuse me. But I mean, you have Tomo and Diamond, this incredible bot lane who are one of the best we have. You have Insanity, who after not getting LCS in 2022, climbed his way back through semi-pro. XU, Hoon, LCS experience all around, and they're trying to make their way back to that level.
And a little bit of added context here. Obviously, Hoon coming off of the performance yesterday was very beating himself up about it, wanted to come in today to prove himself. XU was just watching that banger of a series we had against Wildcard. I know he wants his blood pumping just like that. So coming into the day with a lot of gumption in them, I guess.
Yeah, and it's definitely been fascinating for all the attention we've had towards players like Hoon and Sniper in our top lane bracket, both of them doing very well. On the other hand, we have to be focusing a little bit more on the bottom lane because we have to remember that Unforgiven was the first all-pro AD carry playing over in the LEC. Since they've joined here in the Challengers League, it feels like it hasn't really been fair, Nate. They've just been taking almost everybody and beating them up at all points of the game.
Yeah, it is unreal what this bot lane is able to do. I mean, when we talk about bot lanes in the league, number one, a lot of us lean towards Lost and Zazel for good reason. But if we talk about best marksman, it is Unforgiven. The things this guy does in team fights is just unbelievable, and he has absolutely lived up to the hype since he came to NA.
One of the bottom lanes that has been able to match them, especially in lane so far, it feels has been Tomo and Diamond, two of the veterans that were on Dignitas last year, who are now going to be going up once again. And so, Lennon, I mean, this has been one of those things where we've been seeing Tomo coming back into form. It feels like it's been forever since we've seen this version of him.
Enabled by the longevity that these two have been playing together, right? The first clip we see is them going against their would-be replacements on FlyQuest Challengers, Masu and Keaton, that new hotness. And we talked to them after this matchup. We talked to them about before this matchup. They are so confident in themselves, in what their 2v2 can bring to the table, and they will go up against anybody. And I think you see that in their play where they're just playing 2v2s recklessly, but they're absolutely hands-diffing people.
One of the things that I said yesterday is Tomo going in to prevent some of these people from trying to pick up any of these minions after dives. That's something that Tomo was not doing last year, and seeing this new aggression come out from him in very safe ways, Beatdown, feels like we're going back to a return to the Tomo and Diamond who were winning Cloud9 Academy roster after Academy season over and over again.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it at the end of this game, where at the end of that series against FlyQuest, where Tomo and Diamond feels like they have raised that standard. They have been incredible, and if bot lane was not so incredibly stacked in this league, they would be number one, but they are top three. They are so close, and these are the matchups that we're so excited about because, again, they're going up against Unforgiven and Destiny, and that's going to be another test for these two who have just been really making use of the time they spent together.
I saw that smirk, Len, and you're like, yeah, going up against my boys, Unforgiven Destiny. Is like, are they really ready? Yeah. We'll see. What do you got?
It's a good question. I think, as we know, Unforgiven here, it felt like he was just a stopgap. But at some point, he will get promoted, right? But you still have to deal with double lift in the position in LCS. So you see Unforgiven at a level where he has so many strong mechanics. He's able to capitalize on a lot of the setup that comes from Yukino and that comes from Destiny. And I think we're starting to see them really come into their own.
Yeah, a lot of aggression coming through. We're just praising Tomo for it, but Beatdown, I mean, is there anything that sticks out to you about how well Unforgiven has been playing, especially on things like this area?
Just knowing the limits, I think, is the most exciting part about it. And that's what I love about especially marksman players, people who play those very mechanical roles. I mean, look at what we're seeing on our screen here. Like, he does stuff like this all the time, pushing his play to the very limit. And not only does it help get wins for 100 Thieves, it's fun to watch.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to see a couple more of these certified Zeri moments. It's been a while since we've had these come through, especially since, you know, it was so strong last year. Players like Jan in particular really highlighting themselves on it. But going back to Lennon, I kind of feel like when we start to look at some of these things, one of the big opportunities for both these teams might be preying on how aggressive both these AD carries have been. And is there one of these players that has kind of stuck out to you as somebody that can really like shut down some of these AD carries?
So I would definitely say, I mean, I'm actually looking for like this kind of slaughter fest in bottom lane, and I think it's beautifully highlighted here as well, because you do have so much setup coming from Yukino and from XU. They play a lot of those facilitation junglers. XU also opting into maybe those aggressive early pathers as well, but it will all rely on how quickly the resources get delved out in bot side.
Yeah, Nate, could you explain what you have made for us here? It feels like the older brother just holding the little brother back on the forehead.
And it was really hard for me to decide which team was going here, but purely based off standing, Dignitas, #1 in the league at the moment here. And, you know, as you can see, the hands are the bot laners. It's going to be that brawl on the bottom side of the map. It's going to be a very big point of power for us to watch. And, I mean, it looks like the start of this is Dignitas swinging, but I know 100 Thieves are going to swing right back.
Definitely feels like all of your fantasy books reading has kind of come to a front here, right? This kind of feels like something you would have come out. Yeah. No copyright. We're not telling you where it's from.
That's not important. That's not important. Yeah.
But it is definitely a spot where we have had a lot of exciting 2v2s in this matchup. And while 100 Thieves tries to catch up, we have to remember they're only 3 games behind right now. So make sure you throw down in chat who you think is actually going to be coming out ahead in this matchup. As we start to get ready for the draft, do you guys have any other thoughts on how this series is actually going to go?
I want to see Lucian and Zeri banned and then see what we get after that. Because both of these bot laners, Tobo has played Lucian 8 times, Unforgiven has played Zeri 8 times. So definitely want to maybe see some spice come in the bot lane, but I don't think we will.
Well, there you have it. We are getting ready for our last series of the day. So Lennon and Nate, see how you take it.
All right. Well, I'm taking it. Right?
Very
taking
gently
it from
this
you,
time
Joshi.
around. You know, just quick
I'm just
little...
gonna
Cradle it. Exactly. Dude, you just right. You've been in my head this weekend, Lennon. I love it.
Great minds think alike, my friend. As we are getting into the final series of the day, it is Dignitas Challengers versus 100 Thieves Challengers, the matchup we've all been waiting for, even after that craziness from last series. We will see what the bans take priority here, though. Definitely looking at that bottom lane. A lot of those powerful picks, the Maokais, things like that as well in this first phase beatdown.
Right, both of these junglers being those kinds of players that are so proficient. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect that one.
Pretty's comfort here in the most play. They're just like, all right, Insanity's gonna get a good matchup today.
Maybe the early Tristana pick is something Dignitas are looking for here. And a favorite of Yukino taken out. Definitely a couple bans you don't pick, particularly see during the early phase, but of course there's a game plan going on here. And I look at both these junglers for these teams as those big facilitators. And you look at XU, who's just been a pretty big standout last year, and I think has looked better this year, has had that LCS experience, and I think is better for it. And talking to him, he's just trying to get back to that level, which I mean is true for so many of these players here. And Yukino we talk about things like new hotness and young players like Masu. Yukino's the second youngest player we have in the league, and he has been a player who has surprised so many, not just because of his potential, but his ability to learn, his work ethic that I've heard from people who have worked with him on more than one team, more than one org, that this kid just has that attitude. He's looking to grow, he's excited to learn, and he is better for it. This split alone, he's looked so much better.
It truly has been an interesting adaptation with this kind of younger top side of the map with Sniper Yukino coming into a more veteran style of Pretty, Unforgiven, Destiny. It's a nice little duality to have there. But to catch us up on bans, we did get the Sejuani ban, the Wukong ban, and the Maokai ban. So all of those big facilitation junglers, except for Vi, taken off the board. The Caitlyn also was on there. It was first pick Ashe, though, for Dignitas.
That's right. I mean, this makes more sense. It was up and left the entire day, and I was always scratching my head as to why. This pick is so good in the support role. It's so difficult to deal with in lane. That Enchanted Crystal Arrow is ridiculous. So certainly going to go into Diamond's hands. And 100 Thieves are taking us for a little bit of a trip across several different roles before they lock in the bars.
Sniper had to get his hover in, all right? You gotta, you get the opportunity, but it's gonna be the ADC lock-ins. And I would expect bot lane to get short up here for both sides. I would expect junglers to get short up here for both sides and focus in the second phase to be the bans towards solo lane.
And the Vi lock-in makes perfect sense. Yukino's been playing it so much lately to great success. And there are several pairings that can go with it too. XU doing the hover, of course.
Just like Array, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Anyways,
I didn't get a laugh.
Oh,
it is XU's Lee Sin makes it through. Something we have been seeing skirt around the edges here as well. And that will also be a late game hyper carry for Tomo.
That's right. Did get buffed a little bit. I don't remember exactly what, but the fact that it's buff and this is XU's signature pick makes it so exciting. You have late game scaling, you have all the playmaking, and that's a really exciting start to draft for Dignitas.
Answer here, though, should be something to engage, something to set them up and connect Destiny to Yukino to deal with this very aggressive XU on the Lee Sin. It will be the Nautilus, so I like this pickup.
I do too, because you know what the bot lane is going to be, and it's not going to be the Nautilus jungle like we were so graciously taught about earlier on into the day, but it's nice because you can basically take advantage of the fact that, yeah, Ashe is annoying, Ashe is oppressive, but Ashe is immobile. If you get on top of it, especially with your jungle nearby, hey, I saw you were talking all that good from way down over there. Now that we're up close and personal, what's up? What do you got to say?
Well, that's the thing about Ashe. You just take them at a distance. You ever got to talk to their face. It's like the internet.
That's the goal.
But we are in the second phase of picks and bans here. We do want to see this top lane focus go down for Dignitas. They get the Hoon. Fiora, at least matchup, not going to be there. I wonder what he will go end up with. But the Silas, the mid lane focus for 100 Thieves against Pretty. Or against Insanity for Pretty, rather.
Yeah, so a lot of normal takeaways at this stage of the game. We're starting to see how teams are going to lock in those last couple of picks. Secure the solo laners for the most part here. And I mean, we've seen a lot of boo, boo.
Knew that one was coming.
I just want to, whatever. Okay, there's still a lot of good picks in the mid lane. You know, mages and stuff like that. Not as fun as a colleague.
We're not going to get the Udyr, you say? You don't think?
We could. Insanity played it before. The champ, I'm pretty sure, has not been nerfed since we saw him play it. And it's disgusting, man. I don't like it, but I must admit that it is good.
It is the Jax ban, though. Something very, very strong in that side lane to be taken away from 100 Thieves, from Sniper specifically, as well as has been a big comfort for him thus far. We could get something a little bit more spicy for these solo lanes in the second phase, though, for 100 Thieves.
I'm not expecting it on Dig's side, especially because you see Fiora Jax ban. You're probably setting up for a tank top laner or something like Ornn, Sion, because you have so much damage and the squishy characters on the other side of the map. I'm expecting that one to come through. And that's why I like the Jace pick, because you have that ability to have another lane that you can dominate. And it's a flex, because as we know, Jace mid's a thing now.
Love to see a little bit of that flexibility come into game one for 100 Thieves. I think it is.
That'd be cool.
Little questionable though, but Sion's still on the table, and there's that tank you were asking for. Could go in for Dignitas here, and I think it's a nice little response. We might even get the train skin, but it is a stable top side that XU can play away from.
That's right, and now that last pick for Insanity, I was gonna say need something magic damage related, but no true tank actually exists on the side of 100 Thieves, so you could go for another AD option if you wanted to, but I mean, Ryze is still up, Azir is still up, Victor is still up. There's a lot of options here for him.
The Talia is the answer there. That cohesion, again, that we have been focusing on so much today, it feels like between Insanity and XU will now be on display here with this this combo, and especially once we get to that level 6, it'll be about the setup of Dignitas in the early parts of the game. We'll get 100 Thieves' final response here, as it should be this mid laner, unless we get that flexibility from the Jace position.
Yeah, that's true. It could be the Jace, but I'm not sure what else would go top. It's left. I think it's just going to be for a mage option here. It's not the Ahri, but it is that Ryze. You can get a lot of push into so many champions early on. That mid prio is so very important for a lot of what we've been seeing junglers doing. That's having their mids roam bot. That's invading on a lot of very key timers, and that's what I'm looking for Yukino to probably be doing in this early game.
And that has been where they found a lot of their successes, when Yukino can start getting things going. And I think having Pretty on this rise will be great for the late game. I think you're still looking at Unforgiven Destiny versus Tomo Diamond down there. It's the double ADC versus a traditional support engager. If you can find those engages, huge stuff, but you can't get traded back down on as you're exiting those fights, or you'll just come out away with a lackluster health trade, and the pressure will be there from Tomo Diamond.
And the interesting thing too on 100 Thieves side is that it is a very clear opportunity to play 3 lanes here at that 1-3-1. You have Sniper, if you get him ahead, can be going for some side laning. If that's an option they can go for. You have the Rise, and you have that strong core with Unforgiven and Destiny here, which is a little different. We usually see more of a front to back here from 100 Thieves, but I like the different look. I think Jace is a cool champion, especially if you can bully Sion in that early game, and that's why I have my eyes on XU. We set up these junglers as the big early game facilitators. It's what they did before, it's what they're doing now, and XU's on his signature Lee Sin, as we know is pretty okay in the early game, I think it's fair to say.
Well, if you want to get in on the action, make sure you're spamming in chat who you think's going to take the win.
Yeah.
DIGC for Dignitas and 100C for 100 Thieves. A little bit of a level 1 shenaniganeries, harkening back to Mr. Magical, as it should be just a vision game for 100 Thieves early on.
That vision game is so important, especially because having an idea of where XU is going to be means that you know where you can be as Yukino. And it's looking like the same thing is going to be done for Dignitas' side. That vision game being so very crucial here early on, and a lot of teams have made good use of it.
And what a fight it is as we find ourselves at the top of the table of an ACL with only a couple weeks left to go till playoffs. And with those 2 wins for wild card, or at least the 1-1 at least, being able to kind of bring back that series and get a little bit closer to Dignitas feels a little bit good, but Dignitas could separate themselves yet again. They take home some great series here. And as we get kicked off with our last series of the day, I want to put all that focus back on these early fighting in the 2v2 bot lane, and again how quickly XU will make this path down towards bottom side.
And I like this. Unforgiven and Destiny, they didn't see that Diamond and Tomo got there. They know what time it is when it comes to these double range bottom lanes. Destiny even positioning well enough to avoid the sweeper, but you can't really position that close and avoid the volley. Ash's very cool ability with a very reasonable cooldown, Lennon. I don't know what you're talking about. Why'd you even bring it up?
You know, took the words right out of my mouth, beat down. For sure. But we do see there's a lot of 100 Thieves fans in the chat here now. About 75% thinking that 100 Thieves are going to take this one.
Okay.
Diamond and Tomo doing what they classically do. If they feel like they can have control, if they feel confident in lane, they will push you as hard as possible. Unforgiven and Destiny will just have to kind of take it.
Right, and already a little bit of early vision there from Pretty. Can spot out an early move from XU.
Ooh, Hoon.
Oh, wait a second.
One more
auto.
All right. Yeah, it's Sniper.
Oh.
He doesn't get the kill. Nice flash from both sides, but this should be a big wave crashing in here for 100 Thieves.
Yep. Yukino, they likely have the information because of that early ward. Yukino won't be here. Oh, and that ward will also give away some information. That means that they know Yukino's on this bottom side of the map, and XU is also here. That's right. He can play for the invade.
He knows he's going for the Gromps. Yukino throws up the Team Liquid and the thumbs up. I believe he knows that there should be some thing happening here from XU, as you actually have a little bit. Oh, XU! It's in there, the little steal and a help from Diamond just to make sure.
That's what we call a mental damage there, Lennon. And Tomo is able to play the 2v1 perfectly. The spell shield is very cool coming through here.
We've been blessed with these bot lane matchups today, man. We have so much fun in the bot lane, and we're actually seeing a lot of the mechanics already be expressed this early on.
In fact, fight more. Tomo Diamond, Unforgiven Destiny, start scrapping. Last game, we got 5 kills in like 2 minutes. That's what we need to see for our last game. We've been popping off all day. Let's just end off with a bang, Lyndon. You know what I'm talking about?
See how loud that bang can get as Dragon is spawning up in about a minute here with the pressure from bot lane. I want to see if Dignitas do start stacking this early Dragon for them, as that double ADC bot lane definitely needs as many advantages as they can get. While utilitarian in nature outside of lane, Ash it still is not a Nautilus. And I would still want to say and see how the kind of late game team fights pan out. But if Dignitas get a lead for themselves with that bottom lane, I think that changes the whole conversation when you get to that point.
So I'm favoring Dignitas for 2 reasons. One, you have Sivir, and when you get to that 3, I guess now 2, the changes, item point, she's very, very strong. And as the game gets later, Tomo's going to be doing a lot of damage. That's why you see Unforgiven with the lethal tempo, going for that on-hit build, looking for the DPS because he needs to keep up in this late game. But you're looking at Hoon as well being that front line, and XU. We haven't seen Lee Sin in a while. But my favorite thing about this champion is if you're good enough on him, you can break all the rules. And that's why Unforgiven, being the 80 carry, when he doesn't have flash down, or when he does have flash down, excuse me, XU's going to be looking for those. And kills.
Honestly,
he's going to be looking for plays.
XU has just been off on this one early. He's got such a big lead in jungle for such an early game, and it's just because he's been so quick around the map. Now Yukino trying to get his own influence out of the map. We'll get that ward down there, and definitely want to see now XU coming back out here. Does have that whip in tow to try to get something going.
A nice little bit of stats. Could just ward hop over the wall. Actually is going to get spotted out going the old-fashioned way. So you already see the pings, and there's good tracking onto Yukino. They know they're here. They have the spawn timer for the Gromp. Oh.
I think Yukino got that one.
Yukino got that one.
So second time is not the charm.
That's good that you managed to get that one out, but oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. So the thing I wanted to talk about now is that we're seeing that example of what Dignitas are able to do with that priority. I think you have this mid push for now with Insanity. You have the double range bot lane doing its thing, meaning that XU can continuously go for these invades like we were highlighting, and also start off these early objectives. Drake snacking, really important, even if you scale really well, because one, individual stats, pretty poggers. And also, you deny soul from the other team because it's going to be really late, and late game is your best friend.
Yukino just showed his face there. The angry monkey comes out as the first dragon secured by Dignitas, and they're using their strengths very well in terms of having Diamond move up constantly, having the pressure from bottom lane constantly, and being able to come away with the early advantages. As I do here, we have a pause in game. I'm sure we'll update you as soon as we know what's going on.
Really quick, I just want to say that monkey emote that Yukino has, I think that's compulsory to being a jungler. Like, I think you need it because it's like the emote? Yeah, that monkey emote, because it's like holding, I think it's a cup of hot cocoa, and it's like mine.
I think there's multiple ones. I think that one is
definitely
really? Was that the cocoa one? I don't think that was.
I think it's the cocoa because there's only one monkey emote. That's the thing.
Oh, maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's fun because, you know, you steal an objective or you steal a buff and you're like, mine. Or you hold on to your own camp and you can be like, mine. It's perfect.
It's mine. It's mine.
Yeah,
and then you start turning into the Finding Nemo seagulls.
Yeah, true. They need a seagull emote now.
Is there not a seagull emote? Yeah,
that one I'm not sure about, but that would be cool.
We can get Joshi behind the scenes to research if there's a seagull emote. As I do hear that we are going to be getting back into the game here shortly, so let's go ahead and recap a little bit of what we've seen here so far. Beatdown.
And not a whole lot's really taken place. It's just been that farm lead you mentioned from XU, really using that priority to invade Yukino's jungle. Just be a nuisance. Sometimes he gets camps, sometimes he doesn't. But it also has led to that first streak of the game coming through. Infernal, meaning those extra stats are going over in Dignitas' favor. Again, 100 Thieves have that onus to be able to make plays happen. And I'm watching Yukino in this early game. So far, hasn't had opportunities and is likely farming till level 6. And when that cease and desist comes through, Yukino better do anything but when it comes to making plays.
I gotta try to find something in terms of that combination of powers there with what they've drafted for themselves, and very, very interesting to see kind of how they do that as we are cresting into these started objective stackings and things like that. I do hear that it was an issue with XU's computer. He got a blue screen, had to restart the game, restart his PC rather, and we're back into the game now.
Back, good as new. The jungler of Dignitas. Oh.
Sniper, maybe that pause getting a little bit of the better of him, but it is just the XU engaged now. Sniper, first blood to XU. The math is just not there.
Oh, the timing from Sniper was also not very good. ends up getting punished big time. And the lead for this Lee Sin is the last thing 100 Thieves need at this point here. You're seeing the spot lane manage to trade pretty effectively, but that hawk shot, again, part of why Ashe support is just Ashe in general is so useful. That vision, you know these camps are up, you know Yukino is leaving his jungle currently. Doing what? Who knows?
Already though, XU getting that kill, so big for him. Pretty now moving down towards bottom side. They're pinging. Realm Warp is available, and Yukino and Pretty could make something happen here. They're going to pull the trigger as XU right around the corner. Diamond has to flash over the wall and goes to where they came from. Really heads up play from Dignitas.
Yeah, they managed to avoid the play.
They turn it back around.
Oh, maybe XU's level 6. Worth
They've
noting.
got Insanity here with Weaver's Wall as well, and 100 Thieves. They've just put themselves into a fish in a barrel type situation. They try to go in the engage on Tomo. He does dodge out of the dredge line, but now Insanity is locked down by the chains of corruption, and 100 Thieves have gotten one. Yukino goes for the engage, but it's Tomo that gets another one back. XU is helping, but he goes down too as Tomo is the last big damage. Diamond's trying to kite them out here. He's stepping forward though. Tomo getting these kills, Diamond getting these kills is really big, but XU going down and Insanity going down to 100 Thieves is also very big. It is all of that blood we wanted to see beat down.
Exactly, and all in one quick burst. Really well executed from both sides, but you see that slight lead go over to Dignitas Challengers. And overall, it's good that you managed to pick up some kills onto Yukino. He's gotten 2 now. But overall, you're looking at Tomo on the Sivir, who's going to be that late game monster, has the lead here. And that's why it's also just a benefit on where this gold actually goes for Dignitas. At this point, it is worthwhile for the vision that 100 Thieves have also earned on this bottom side. And that's where you're seeing Unforgiven and Destiny start trading way more aggressively. They'll know well in advance if anybody is even considering, postulating, thinking about moving to this bottom side.
A little bit of vision game clearing here as the Rift Herald being contested by Yukino. Hoon is here with Sniper not able to come down just yet. Pretty is here though, as well as the hover from Insanity, but that will be XU claiming another neutral objective for Dignitas.
Nice and easy from the top side of Dignitas Challengers. Means that XU has that option, especially being already past level 6 with that Dragon's Rage, to set up some kind of dive here. Whether it's bot lane, mid lane, you have a lot of options that can work for you, but bot lane is looking best because you have Insanity. Also has that global ultimate where you can move across the map very quickly. So I'm expecting XU clear this top side and look to either recall and move bot or kind of open up the situation for Insanity to be able to get a move.
For this Rift Herald, though, I would wonder if they just want to drop the plates now, get a little bit of that early advantage continuing for themselves, and try to get something for Insanity. But I would expect maybe even bot lane to be that focus for it, as it is just a hover right now from XU in mid lane. Get the tussle back and forth in top side of the map. And there's that the disconnect from earlier. And we'll actually see now with a little bit of a roam from Destiny towards this mid lane. 100 Thieves trying to make a play.
The play is available. Pretty actually doesn't have the Realm Warp yet, but looking like because of that pink ward, they call off the play. They know the information is there. They don't want to walk into a potential trap. So it's just good vision laid down again, like we were highlighting earlier from 100 Thieves. And now we have this dragon coming up very shortly. And because of this vision and the push coming through here, 100 Thieves actually have a pretty good position to secure it, even knowing where XU is at the moment because of that ward.
All that game around the vision, but XU spotted out anyways, and it will just be a position in front of the Dragon Pit here for Yukino, who keeps throwing up that Team Liquid banner. And I don't expect them to try to force this unless it's something that Dignitas want to continue stacking. They're going to TP Hoon in the top side of the map. And actually for right now, they're kind of left to their own devices as XU does sneak over the wall here, I believe, just trying to see if he can spot out if Yukino had started it. But now that rapid fire shot from Pretty will signal 100 Thieves getting their first dragon.
It's just going to be that trade. Dragons apiece. XU and the rest of Dignitas don't want to go for that risk of the team fight here. You got a small lead. Just hold on to it. It's fine for now. And you still have the Rift Herald that you want to be playing for a decent amount of time before the eye expires. But XU will have to make that decision soon. Whether it's like you said, maybe we get a couple quick plays dropped immediately, or you set up a play, get some kills, and secure even more gold. Would really break the game open in favor of Dignitas.
And XU and the rest of the combo down bottom side, they know how to get this lead ahead is by just giving Diamond and Tomo resources. You have the utility from the Ashe, but the late game carry potential from Tomo. And while they were spotted out on that ward, there will still be a little bit of presence here on the bottom side of the map from Dignitas.
Now things are slowing down a little bit. That vision they're trying to clear up is just so that 100 Thieves don't have as much of an idea of the movements of XU and Insanity, but also so that they can potentially turn these plays around in on them. My eyes are still on where this Rift Herald is going to be dropping. I mean, things are kind of slowing down at the moment here, so now we're just looking at XU.
Slow like
going,
molasses.
Talk to me.
Beat down.
Yeah.
Slow like molasses. As we got that craziness last time around, but now it's just a little bit of that calculated aspect from Dignitas, from 100 Thieves. And speaking of calculation, they have done all the maths.
That's right.
Apparently mid lane is needing of a Rift Herald.
The numbers check out. Apparently that's what the numbers mean, so thank you, Mason, for that one. As it's going to be some good plate gold over to Insanity and XU. And I mean, you're running out of time because the turret plates were going to follow Yukino. Okay, it's just a warning shot. It's not actually going to do anything. But, you know, you got to be careful of these things. You never know when it's going to be your turn because something cool is happening, Lennon.
What would be cool to you? Are you like a bouncy houses are cool guy? Are you like a beautiful grand vista of like the Grand Canyon is cool guy? Are you like rocket ships are cool to you?
Definitely not rocket ships. It's going to be beautiful vista.
Trains?
Because of Scion, not really, no. He's ruined them for me. No, I like trains. They're kind of cool. I like
you ever
riding
remember
trains.
those commercials, those like fever dream commercials from back in the day?
Yes!
It was like the trains, cars, boats, planes. Like, find all the VHSs. Good times. Showing my age.
Hey, I think I'm older, or at least close to age, so it's okay. We're old together.
It's okay.
You know?
It's okay.
Exactly.
Speaking of not that old though, Sniper taking on Hoon in the top side of the map. You also have just this constant vision game. I mean, look how many blue wards there are on the bottom side of the map here, and there's an obvious focus for Dignitas that we said in the very beginning was where they need to put all the eggs in the baskets. XU connecting with Tomo and Diamond and finding those advantages.
Yeah, and you're seeing 100 Thieves, even though all the vision was cleared out, there's still one ward that managed to get slipped through. And that means XU's location, again, known. Honestly, despite the bit of a deficit 100 Thieves find themselves in, they've done a really good job keeping an eye on XU, and I feel it's limited what he's been able to do in this game, and we'll see if it limits this play right here. No, it doesn't. They're teasing me, Lennon. They're baiting me. I think a fight is going to start. I want to see. You know what I think is cool? You asked me earlier. Fighting. I think fighting is cool.
Wow.
Both in and off
Very
the
violent.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the name. Yeah, the way you even said that, it's like, wow, you like fighting? That's very violent, Beatdown. I can't believe this.
Goes hand in hand. When it's speaking of hands, all the beatdowns being delivered to Destiny down the mid lane. Destiny get a little bit low, and you can't run away from this combo. Dead Sanity trying to get one, and he does. See if Pretty can answer back, taking a decent amount of shots back himself, but nice setup from Diamond. Sniper is going for the solo onto Hoon. Hoon uses the unstoppable onslaught. The flash from Sniper can't get him. And there's the flying trains, but it's away this time. And Tomo will get the side tower first turret for the Sivir.
That is incredibly huge for Dignitas here. Being able to secure that much gold early on. This Sivir already has Kraken Slayer, and this lead for Tomo is huge. Taking advantage of the fact that 100 Thieves move Unforgiven topside to secure that second Rift Herald just means that this Rift Herald better have a crazy play attached to it, or Dignitas, or rather 100 Thieves, might regret that decision.
Just about under 2,000, 1.5 K there for Dignitas and lead here. I think they're fine with that, with some of the scaling they have. We also just want to check in on some item completions. We got the Heartsteel completed for Hoon in the side lane versus that Eclipse for Sniper. You also got, of course, the Kraken Slayer Shield Bow versus down there from the bottom side of the map. But everybody's got about their first items here, and those skirmishes definitely a little bit more dicey.
And for Pretty, you're waiting for that 2-item mark, and that 2-item mark and the completion of that Seraph's coming through here. That's when he's really gonna start to come online. But the fact that Tomo's been able to get ahead at this point has been a pretty big deal. XU is gonna start off this next dragon as well, because you see the shift in priority to other parts of the map. And I mean, it doesn't really matter that Hoon might go down. Oh, he's not going to go down.
Back up again.
Wait, that was fast.
Oh my god, that's so fast. They will crash on this topside tower, though, having utilized that Rift Herald. A nice little play from 100 Thieves. They will take that while XU takes their second dragon for Dignitas.
Nice and easy. Drake stacking coming through here. We already know it's that Chemtech Soul. Oh!
It's a Crystal Arrow trying to get Unforgiven. Nice flash from Tomo out of that one. Destiny very close to connecting it. They get a second tier tower in the top side. No way they get a third charge. He's got to get in there. Hood. He stops it. They're moving. They're collapsing, though. XU is coming to try to route off Pretty and Sniper. But looks like Hoon just going to focus on that wave. They also have Diamond coming, who doesn't have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
Oh, just kick.
Pretty tries to get the flash into the Realm Warp, but he should be able to get out even so with that phase rush. Diamond not able to catch up. Sniper stopping his back, though. You did get a tier 2 tower in the bottom side taken out by Insanity. It's just trading across the map.
Yeah, and Pretty did have to lose a lot to make that happen, but it's still a lot of gold that they get into their pockets here for 100 Thieves, and it's allowing them to close the gap a little bit. They do need a little bit more, because the fact is they're putting a lot of pressure onto Hoon, but they keep sacrificing so much on the other side of the map, and that's so good for Tomo. I mean, if we can just take a look at the gold to see what the difference is between these two 80 carries, it will kind of show what's been go. Okay, I take it back. Unforgiven is just the GOAT, apparently. Only down 200, 300 gold.
Yeah, the lead has been fluctuating a little bit. Insanity definitely has the biggest chunk of it, at least for Dignitas. Everywhere else, it's just a little bit of lead to write home about. You see Dignitas trying to get this mid lane broken out a little bit more. We should have a little bit of presence around this mid lane before the Baron spawns, but I expect Dignitas to start shifting some of that vision, as they already have, towards this top side. You see 100 Thieves have taken that onus to put out their vision bot.
Right, you can tell because Hoon is the one they have put on the other side of the map here, as Baron is up on the menu very, very soon. May not see an early Baron, but this is where that vision is going to be so important on this side of the map. And I think they're looking for something here, at the very least covering a play, because now Tomo is starting to get really strong. You see the mythics come through for top jungle, and Insanity is actually at his second item. So already so much damage from this Talia, who's especially able to impact these team fights so very strongly. I mean, talking about Insanity too, he's a player who's, I think, has been really fun to watch, because I mentioned it in the pre-show, didn't get to play in LCS in 2022, played in 2021 for Immortals, and didn't make it back. Immediately, as soon as Spring Split starts playing in semi-pro. Yeah, it was with 100 Thieves, it was an LCS affiliate team, but that drive to play is incredible.
See, Sniper taking a nice little chunk here from Diamond and Insanity, but he wants it back. He can't get it. Insanity gets his second kill. The trains are flying, but again into the wall this time. Pretty. Can he make the execution happen? He doesn't have the Realm Warp this time to try and get him out, but he might have the damage on the XU as he's trying to put now into Hoon. Hoon not able to get the knockback up onto him. Pretty dissuades a 2v1 gank as Tomo tries to defend mid lane but can't.
Saris is so crazy, man. That shield is just bonkers. Saves Pretty's life, makes Mages seem a lot tankier than you think, and wow, Tomo actually manages to, I mean, the wave wasn't there, so I won't say it was necessarily Tomo, but they dissuade that turret from going down. It will go down, I don't know, sneeze, someone will sneeze on it. It's got 30 HP, like there's no way anyone can do anything about it. But next thing that we're looking at really isn't necessarily Baron, even though we're seeing pings come through. It's just that contention of vision. Oh, I lied. Dignitas, I'm sorry. I betrayed your trust. Dignitas are just going to start the Baron.
Just for a brief little moment, just to try to bait out 100 Thieves if they can get the catch out here. Chance Crystal Arrow knocked back and a lot of damage onto Yukino, but they re-engage, and guess who they found? It's Insanity himself. The man is down, and a double kill to get him forgiven. This is a Baron for 100 Thieves.
Now they get the one to do... are the ones who can do it for real. You see the team emotes pop. Sniper is in the area, and Dignitas, they got to try and get them off of this. But can they actually do it?
Damage is enough this low and this early. It does a lot, and it's stacking up here, but it's secured by 100 Thieves as Sniper slams down on the back line. Hoon trying to get out now as well, trying to get onto Destiny. The Realm Warp brings out the rest of 100 Thieves. They surround Hoon, and his zombie body will be brought back to life just for a short snippet. But a big capitalization on a huge error from Dignitas.
And that's a big move from 100 Thieves Challengers. You think Yukino's not going to go in because of the low health, but realistically, he only needs to live long enough to use that cease and desist, and it sets up the rest of the team, who are now in a perfect position to go grab this next dragon and have flipped the gold lead. Now they're the ones who are about 2,000 gold up. And the big thing is, you know the arrow is there. It was the setup they were looking for with this bait. But Yukino is charging the Vault Breaker and says, all right, let's go in, because you have Unforgiven, who's putting unreal damage out, and you know that you have the numbers to be able to win this fight. So of course it's easy for you to get the Baron.
They were so focused on trying to get that catch out, and that Chains of Corruption just came right across onto Insanity.
Makes a lot of sense too, because you're playing a lot of these fights off of that Ash arrow, but this one in particular, it just didn't happen to be the play you wanted. And of course, Hoon, as formality, we knew he's going down.
I actually did a decent amount of damage there on Unforgiven on the way out there. Now we do see this Baron buff for another minute and a half on 100 Thieves. They're pushing in bot side tier 2. They're also pushing in mid lane.
It's that play for 2 lanes here, and that big commitment from Dignitas to protect this turret as much as they can on the bottom side. You have a good amount of wave clear now that Tomo has hit 2 items, and that is something to rely on later on as well with if future Baron buffs go 100 Thieves' way. Your wave clear for Dignitas is actually very good.
Oh, they get the engage though, and shut down is Unforgiven. Dignitas make that quick play. They almost get inhib power traded in mid lane because of it, but they gotta make those kinds of plays when they can. And now Dignitas are coming to contest the dragon. This is sole point for Dignitas if they can steal it away.
I don't think they can do this. This is kind of illegal. You have no AD carry. Oh, but Tomo isn't here either. So, but 100 Thieves are still gonna back off. The thing too, I want to talk about that play that happened earlier, and just something I try to bring up often, and definitely didn't forget to bring up this game, is that when you have an Ashe in the game and your AD carry doesn't take cleanse, you're very vulnerable to a lot of these plays.
Absolutely.
And Unforgiven, we're seeing the consequences of that. Took heal, helpful in lane, but now that you have to dodge these cross map way out of left field, pass by my fridge before hitting you Ash arrows, means that they better not hit you or you're caught out and dead.
I was trying to look at the heal cooldown, and I saw it on that earlier. It has not moved. I don't know if he actually has heal or not left right now. I believe he would have probably used it in that last little engagement to try to get something back from him. But I do want to see now as we... Okay, he does have it. Look at that. Woo! The spectator kind of having a little bit of fun with us.
You know it happens.
Thank you to the observers, though. But we do get a lot of presence now that the Baron is off of the map for Dignitas to try to come out and scrape some of this gold back.
It's possible. There isn't much for them to be scraping, really. Like what Pretty is doing as well. Just waiting here, seeing if he can catch someone out. And they're just going to continue pushing this bot side. Because Baron, again, is just going to be the objective that everybody is looking towards in these next few minutes. Soul... Oh, hold on. Oh,
Not going to be there just yet.
no. Soul is going to be really important for Dignitas, since it will be there for them in 3 minutes. That's why 100 Thieves, realistically, are going to be caught in a pretty difficult position that teams have had to deal with since Season 10, Lennon. If your enemy is at Soul Point and Baron will be up at the same time, it's like, damn, we can't let them get Soul, but what if they walk to the Baron first? So 100 Thieves have to look to make the play there.
And obviously we still have about 3 minutes left. I do want to check in a little bit later on the item completions, because right now we are sitting on 3 items for Unforgiven. That is a big spike, as well as Sniper having that 3rd item completion. But I'm sure we're getting very close for Tomo. So that next fight, very important for Dignitas, hoping they can assure some of that with the item completions here, as well as Insanity having gotten his 3rd item. But those are the big things that I'm looking at for Dignitas to be set up with weapons of their own.
Right, when Tomo shows up with that 3rd item, that's going to be a big weapon for Dignitas to be working with here. And that's what I'm keeping my eyes on for the moment. But I like what 100 Thieves are doing also. It's this big commitment to this bottom side of the map. Not necessarily for a play, but for that vision control. Yeah, Hawkshot makes it a little less impactful, but you still have this control that Dignitas have to slowly clear out while you reset and work to set up on the other side of the map, since we have Baron coming up very soon. And I think this is a good look for 100 Thieves, because honestly, early on into the... Oh, I might need to hold that thought.
It's a slowdown onto Pretty. No Realm Warp, but the flash after the phase rush. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Does not connect, but Pretty gets the enchanted crystal arrow used onto him, and this should be him going down. Though XU flashing behind Hoon just to make sure, and the shutdown goes to XU himself.
The timing on that play is so good. 100 Thieves can't do anything in exchange on the other side of the map. Just push these waves out. There's no turret to take. Baron's not up yet. So a great heads-up play from Dignitas to be able to, one, push this bottom wave in so deeply, and two, Pretty won't be back until a good bit after the Baron spawns. So Dignitas have this angle to just go ahead and start it up, and that's why you see them grouping and walking through.
And this combo of Diamond and XU with the Ashe to have a lot of that forefront for XU to set up these cool picks, that is what I'm looking for Dignitas to really find in these later parts of the game. That setup with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and all the damage to follow it afterwards, where you have a little bit more stability, it feels like, in terms of how you can have multiple avenues for 100 Thieves.
Now, there's only one avenue for Dignitas, and it is 100 Thieves topside jungle, setting up a little bit of vision, good as they. And of course, it's Diamond.
Gonna hit on the hunt, goes through, and Sniper has to flash away. Hoon re-engaged on Unforgiven, is putting in damage on the side here, though. He has to go away, though. Yukino left out.
Time to go.
By Insanity. Here comes those flying trains you hear about. And Dignitas are coming to town. As you didn't get a ticket for this one, it'll be a mid-lane fight that goes whole-handedly to Dignitas.
It's the game, Lennon. It's over. Sniper's the only one left. And in one fell swoop, Dignitas managed to close out game one. Unbelievable that a game so back and forth can end like this, but that's it. What's Sniper going to be able to do?
On last little push here from Dignitas, and I got to start looking for my train tickets because I didn't get the invite from Dignitas. It's just so quick like that, and they take down 100 Thieves in what we thought was going to be a hotly contested matchup. But Dignitas improved themselves to 18-4 and push 100 Thieves to the brink.
And of course, we're going to have a little fun before the Nexus explodes, but wow, Dignitas very quickly turned the tides in their favor. Incredible move there. Didn't even need the Soul. Didn't even need the Baron.
That is all you have to say for Dignitas, because they're at the top of the table for a reason. They are strong for a reason. Yep. Give them one little inch, they'll take a mile. But we have to see what happens in game number 2. We'll send it to a little break. We'll have a halftime bet with Joshi afterwards, and we'll see what happens.